Welcome to Your High School Sports Tri-Cities. I'm Roddy Woods along with Jake Nichols and Chris Reddick. Chris Blevins is bathing in the sun still.
Oh boy, he's having a great week.
He's had a good time.
Man. He's a tan man.
He's a tan man. He's a tan man. You know, hey, we're here to give you all the stories that have relevance to football.
Oh yeah.
Here in the Tri-Cities area.
It's the fun show.
It's the fun show. Let's go check in with Bart Lyons.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Y'all doing a great job on the show.
Well, we appreciate you just being there, and I'm just going to jump right on into this thing. Tell me about what happened. What happened?
Hey, tough ball game, man. Elizabeth has got a very talented group. Got a good bunch up in the front. Got some playmakers. Parker Hughes, unbelievable wide receiver, and Bryson Rollins, he's a do-it-all threat for the Cyclones as well. So both those guys, Yaddy and the big line, and a good coaching staff, and man, they come out the victory the other night.
You know, when Witten puts a team out on the field, you know, the only person who picked Lizzie last week, you know who that was on our panel.
Yeah, no, number 26, Chris Reddick.
Yeah, we all went with you, and but that's all right. We're talking about your running back. Talk a little bit about that kid, how good he is, Bart.
Yeah, Chris Thomas, he could play. Our question mark was our offensive line, or 5 guys up front, all first-year starters, and Chris was still able to get 195 yards rushing, which was a big surprise. So LeBron Riddle and all those guys up front did a really good job of opening some holes and making some things happen.
Well, we're doing a top 17 players of the Southeast, and Mr. Chris Thomas comes in at number 17 on our top 17. So you need to go to yourhighschoolsports.com and check out our top 17 players in the Southeast. And there's a few players from up your way on that list, Bart.
And I'm sure several of them are very deserved. We got some very talented kids up here.
I know it. Let me ask you this question. Who is your Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Tri-Cities player week 1, August 23rd? Who would that be?
Hey, it'd be Big Cade Maupin from the Elizabeth Cyclones, to do it all athlete, play a little bit at wide receiver, play a little bit at running back, play a little bit at quarterback, had an interception as a defensive back, and just led the Cyclones to the big victory. So congratulations to Cade Maupin, and congratulations on the big win for the Cyclones.
All right, well, we appreciate you being a part of Your High School Sports every week, Bart, and we'll talk to you next week right here on yourhighschoolsports.com.
Sounds good. Go Toppers as always, man. Go Toppers.
Let's go Toppers, and you're watching Your High School Sports.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
I'll tell you what, you don't have to look far to get savings right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Greenville. Save up to $10,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick Encore. Save up to $10,500 on a brand new 2019 Buick Enclave. And I'll tell you what, how about saving up to $12,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick LaCrosse? Up to $12,000. Make the short trip to Bachman Bernard Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greenville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. Thanks, Bart. Great interview with Bart. I know he's a little down because your Elizabeth the Cyclones beat him, but hey, things happen. Things happen. It's football, right, Jake? It's football.
Right.
It sure is.
Let's go on.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm gonna let you counteract what Bart was saying. Bart talked about things, but you was at the game. Let's talk about Science Hill and Elizabeth a little bit.
Well, actually, unfortunately, I love to always be at the Science Hill Elizabeth game, but Roddy actually put me to work because we cover games all around, and we actually had a game of the week that we did in Sevier County.
That's right.
So I was there along with Jake, which Jake actually debuted that day.
He did.
He did a great job, and I wanted to commend him. Actually, I'm going to commend him right here on camera because I didn't get to commend him that day. Jake, you did an awesome job. that day, and I loved how you were so prepared. I mean, you've done something that I think is going to add a nice touch to the mix with the sports show as far as doing the games of the week. So great job, and look forward to working with you more on it.
Thank you.
All right, now that that's out of the way, see, we have a little fun on this show. Let's talk about that Science Hill Elizabethton game. All right, that's kind of my profile story of the week. And the reason why I want to talk about it, of course, these guys don't, because they voted for Science Hill to win that game. I was on the island by myself, and I felt that Elizabethton had the talent.
No love for Chris.
They gave me no love, but I felt that this Cyclone team was a very talented team that people really, they knew, but they just wanted it proven, because see, we lost two talented players last year. When I did an interview, if you followed that online with Coach Witten a few weeks ago, I told him, I said, you lost, if you guys remember the group, the CNC Music Factory.
Yes.
I said, you lost the CNC Football Factory, man.
Yeah.
So with those two players gone, they were left with still a lot of talent, but the talent just wasn't used as much as they were last year.
Right,
but it was always there.
Okay.
So people were kind of uncertain on how this was going to come about, especially you're playing your cross-city rival that's just a few miles away, like that one team that Jake talked about in the West earlier in the week. But this game had everything on the line like it does every year. You can throw out all the X's and O's, you can throw out previous records, it really doesn't matter. You can have Elizabethton be 0-10 and Science Hill be undefeated and still have a chance of a 0-10 beating. I mean, that's what's happening. But anyway, what was great about this game, because the talent that we have this year, we're a little bit different. Last year, Jake, we were a team that we had that strong air attack. This year, Coach Witten decided, we're going to have to go back, a little bit old-fashioned. We're going to have to go back to the run, because we've got a lot of athletes, and that's kind of what he labels a lot of them. It's really hard to pinpoint who the quarterback is, who the running back is. They're just typically athletes. So with that being said, one of the athletes that we were able to have on our team and we were blessed with this year, and they actually had it captured, I think, Cade Clutch in the Johnson City Press newspaper, was Cade Maupin, who we were able to have transferred from Dobbins Bennett, which was an outstanding athlete. Now, here's the problem Science Hill had with Elizabethton. They didn't really know what to expect on who's going to play what position. Why do I say that? Because at one point you may see Cade playing at quarterback, which he did a great job and actually scored a touchdown at quarterback. But then at one point you may see Cade at running back, which he did a great job because he rushed about 30 rushing attempts for like 150 plus yards. And of course, with him being an athlete, you saw Cade at defensive back, which he made a spectacular, outstanding catch that helped save a touchdown that was getting ready to be scored on. And you also saw, with him rotating around, what does that mean? If I said he's playing quarterback, well, if he's playing receiver or running back, you got to have somebody else at quarterback. Well, guess what? They got another talented sophomore by the name of Bryson Rollins, and he ran the quarterback. Just like, it kind of reminds me a little similar to Cade with Greenville. Yeah, he's very versatile. He can run it, he can throw it, and a lot of dangerous weapons that they had on the field. Now, with that being said, what their offense was able to do, by the way, Bryson Rollins actually had a rushing touchdown as well. So with that being said on offense, the defense, they're just as nice as the offense. And as you can see there on the screen, we're going to show you a few highlights where the defense shut down at key points of the game one of our standout players that we like to talk about, Chris Thomas. Now, to give Chris Thomas some credit, he actually still ended up with about 200 yards. That just showed how talented he is. But Science Hill, one of the troubles that they had was because they had a young line. Now, this is a very talented line, but they're just not at the level, especially having to play the first part of the game.
They're not gelling.
So down the road, you may see this line get better.
Yeah.
You may see Chris Thomas' rushes get a little bit more. But I think we just had a little bit better team this year. Not saying that Science Hill's got a down year. I just think that we're kind of a sneaky on the uprising type team. So with that being said, hopefully Elizabeth will continue to prove themselves, and we will end this conversation in 17 weeks with one of those gold balls that Roddy likes to talk about from the Elizabethton cycle.
You know, I said 6. That means East Tennessee 6.
Yeah, that's why
I take that. Elizabeth can get a gold ball. Shaw don't. They deserve one. Elizabeth is one of those schools. They've been there. You remember how Greenville used to get there and they never could get over the hump? Elizabeth, same way. They get there. They need to get over the hump.
Yeah.
And once you get over the hump, it makes it a lot easier. That's
You know what
great.
one of those humps are? Speaking of Greenville,
That's
one
it.
of the humps,
That's 2 humps. That's 2 humps. You got to play Greenville in the
That's
regular
true.
season.
That's a
Then
good point.
it's
You
coming
gotta
down
play again. You play them again.
back
You're
in the
right.
playoffs.
Exactly.
You know, hey, when we come back, Jake's gonna set up the top 17 players in our region. So make sure you stay right here on Your High School Sports. We are your source for football in the Southeast. We'll be right back. Hey folks, this is Roddy from My Smoky TV channel 195, and I'm standing in front of the best place to get a Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's Krispy Kreme donuts right here on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, and at their second location right down in Sevierville off of Highway 66. Come on by Krispy Kreme donuts and get you one hot, fresh, and ready, and follow My Smoky TV channel 195 on Facebook and Instagram.
It may be hot outside, but I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit more. Right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greenville. I'll tell you what, you want savings? I've got them. Save up to $10,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick Encore. That's right, up to $10,000. You can go to other dealers. They're going to say, well, no, they can't do that. Well, I'll tell you what. Come down here and try me. You're going to save up to $10,000 right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greenville. Where, as always, you know it, I'm going to save you money.
Well, welcome back to Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Roddy Woods, along with Chris Reddick and Beach and Chris Blevins. We know it's where he's at.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't working.
He's not fooling anybody. Huh?
No, he ain't working.
10 man.
Man. All right, as I promised, Jake's going to set up his top 17 players in the Southeast in our region. Name them off, sir.
Now, Roddy, for this top 17, got a few controversial picks. So if you guys want someone different in that top 17, be sure and reach out to us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Let us know maybe who we might have wrong or who else you would like to see in those top players throughout our coverage.
Should they send you some stats or something to make it?
They should.
Oh, yeah,
Send me any stat lines you have. Send me anything that proves why they belong in that top 17 and why I should kick somebody else out in place of your favorite player. So to start out, we have Reggie Grimes out of Ravenwood, the defensive end. Number 2, Tyler Barron out of Knoxville Catholic. Number 3, Keyshawn Lawrence out of Innsworth in Nashville. Number 4, Elijah Young out of South Doyle. Fantastic athlete here in Knoxville.
Yeah, they put a thumping on somebody last week, didn't they?
They did. Number 5, Brian Tucker, also out of Knoxville Catholic. That's going to be a name you're going to hear a lot. Number 6, Omari Thomas out of Briarcrest down in Memphis. Number 7, Cooper Mays, another out of Knoxville Catholic right there in the top 10. Number 8, Javari White out of Lake Placid High School in Florida. Number 9, Navy Schuler out of the Christ School in Arden, North Carolina. Number 10, Cade Larkin out of David Crockett up there in the Tri-Cities. Number 11, Brody Meadows out of Graham, Virginia. He was a Max Preps All-American as a freshman, so really look out for him his sophomore year.
Big time.
Big old boy.
Wow.
Number 12, Antonio Stevens out of Battleground Academy in Nashville. Number 13, Brian Rice, another spectacular defensive end there for Ravenwood. Number 14, Bryson Easton out of Whitehaven down in Memphis. Number 15, Grissom Anderson for the Webb Spartans right here in Knoxville. Really look for him to make a big name at linebacker and at tight end and running back. Number 16, Charlie Cole out of Daniel Boone. A little bit off the radar, but be sure and watch out for him once it gets to later this season. And lastly, number 17, Chris Thomas out of Science Hill, 200 yards last week in a loss. So just imagine what he can do in a Hilltoppers win. So guys, that rounds out our top 17.
Nice.
You know, that 17 players, you know, when we start talking about how to put this thing together, you know, we got a little bit of mix from everybody. You know, you got some West Tennessee, you've got some Middle Tennessee, you got some East Tennessee players. But you know something, guys? As a top 17 player, these are what college big teams are looking for.
Oh yeah, that's
You know, you were talking about those kids that came from Pearl Cone last year and BGA. They're at UT, but how many on here? You know, there are some good-looking players on here. You know.
You guys, a lot of us already committed to some schools.
Yeah. So next week, can you give us a rundown on where they're going?
Yeah.
Like I know a couple of them. I know that Tyler Bacon, he's Clemson bound. isn't he?
Yeah, Tyler Barron is not committed yet. Brian Tucker is Clemson.
That's Clemson. That's good.
Yes.
But
I will be more than happy to take you through a rundown each week. I know, Roddy, you said we had planned to take our lovely viewers through one of these players each week, give them an update on how they did the previous week, and take them through why they belong in that top 17.
Are you going to start top to bottom or bottom to top?
I think I am going to go top to bottom. I'm going to start with Reggie Grimes. You've got to start with one of the top players in the state.
One of the best, huh?
One of the best. Well, Jake, thank you. You know that. Make sure you can see this list of Jake's on yourhighschoolsports.com, or like he said, if you got somebody you'd like to see on there, give him a reason why he should bump somebody out. Go to Twitter, Facebook, or his Instagram. Plus, also make sure you catch Jake with his last word of the day. Every night he posts something. It could be the Yankees playing our Boston Red Sox. You know,
Yankees are doing good right now.
It could be they doing good.
It's not that kind of show. Huh?
Not that kind of show. But Jake, you have to go on there. He's got some great, interesting articles every night. So you don't know what time, about 10, 11, whenever you feel like it.
10:30 to 11. But going back to the top 17 for a second. Now, guys, Roddy said that you can reach out to me on any of those social media platforms and tell me who you think should be in there. And don't feel free to be blunt about it. You can tell me why I'm stupid. Tell me why I'm an idiot. But if you're going to do it, you've got to back it up.
There you go.
Bring the stats to the table to be able to say why this guy belongs in our top 17. You've got to be able to back that up.
Walk it.
There you go. We'll be right back here on Your High School Sports with more, because we are Your High School Sports, the source for football. Where?
In the Southeast.
There it is.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. Krispy Kreme donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
I need your trade. I need your trade. I need your trade. I'll tell you what, look at my lot. It's getting empty. That's because we've been selling a ton of vehicles. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard. I need your trade. That means I'm going to put some dinero, some cash, lots of money in it. I'll tell you what, with your trade being worth what it is and the extra trade-in rebates, you can save up to $7,500 on a brand new 19 Cadillac XT5. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greenville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. It's time for the question of the week. Usually have it at the top, but we had so much with Bart wanting to talk about Science Hill and Chris wanted to follow up. So it's time for the question of the week. Sponsored by Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge. If you're over there having fun, go by, see Joe. He's got a location in Pigeon Forge and one in Sevierville now. So
nice.
Great donuts. You had some last week at the game, didn't you?
Jake and I talk about those football donuts.
That's what Joe said.
Jake says, you need to hide those Krispy Kreme donuts. I said, why? Because I'll be in all of them. I'll eat them all.
That's what Joe said. Joe, he's the owner. So Joe, which donut you like? You eat too much. You can get carried away with them, can't you?
Oh, I can. I get carried away with those Buddy's barbecue cookies too.
I know.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. All right, the question of the week is on you, sir.
Today is my day for the question of the week. So wonder what I've got up my sleeve. Let's pull out the piece of paper. Oh, we don't need paper. Anyway, the question of the week. Well, let's put it this way. Let's imagine that you're at the beach like Chris Blevin. Getting a night now.
Yeah.
Let's imagine.
Let's go.
You're around 29 years old. Mm-hmm. You've had an outstanding career in your profession.
Okay.
You are about to peak at your profession. You're possibly in a position to where you can maybe possibly break a lot of records. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm talking about somebody that has pretty much all their life have been looked upon as being the next great one.
Okay.
And guess what? You just come off a phenomenal season. I mean, you actually had a phenomenal start to your career. I mean, you took your team to the playoffs, I believe, the first 3 seasons. But then things started to falter, just like anything else would in anybody's career, to where some injuries and certain things may occur. But you were able to pick yourself back up. And then, like I said, you had a great career, and you're now with a team that possibly could give you the best chance of going to the Super Bowl. But then all of a sudden, we're just about a week away from the season kicking off. You decide, I don't think I want to play the game. The question of the week is, we're talking about Mr. Andrew Luck for Indianapolis, and he has decided money's not an option. It doesn't matter. I care more about my health and my mind, so I'm going to walk away from the game. So the question of the week is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't care what perspective you come from the side of the team, from the side of Mr. Luck, but as a quarterback, being able to possibly be one of the greatest, to go down as one of the greatest, decided to say, that's it, I'm done. And like I said, he did it because we had some greats like Barry Sanders and a few others who kind of cut their career short, but they've done it in enough time to where that team can kind of recoup and kind of fill those shoes. He does it to where, exactly, they're claiming him as a starter, and he said, I'm done. So, bad or good?
I'm going to go both. I think bad for the Colts because Andrew Luck was the next in line to Peyton Manning. They only got a few seasons with him, and now he decides to hang it up. Now, bad because he is one of the greater quarterbacks that they've seen. He was the next in line, possibly the next great pocket passer for the NFL, and we did see glimpses of that, especially in his comeback player of the year season just last year in 2018. But for Luck, what you did not mention there, Chris, was the myriad of injuries that he has had. He has been torn to pieces as the quarterback for Indianapolis. Among those injuries, broken ribs, lacerated kidney, a messed up ankle and calf going into this season, a concussion, several others as well, even a thumb injury a couple years ago. So guys, this guy has been torn to pieces, as most NFL players are. And you know what? If he decides that the money is enough and he has enough to be able to walk away, I'd say good for him to be able to do it while you're healthy. And you know what? You saw that from a lot of NFL players too. They reached out to him on Twitter and said, you know what? We don't care what the Colts fans are doing, which the Colts fans booed him after the announcement was made. As they were walking off the field the other night after their preseason game, he was booed by Colts fans. They even went so far as to burn his jersey. Now, guys, this guy has done a lot for the Colts franchise in the short time he has been there. I understand that it's a bad thing for the franchise. But if you make a decision after being hurt that much, that often, as early as he is in his career, to hang it up, you've got to respect the decision because he's taking the prerogative that we have not seen from many NFL players to be able to take your body while you have it in good form and walk away from the game. And we saw a lot of NFL players reaching out, praising his decision to walk away while he did, because a lot of them, they said, took more guts than returning to the field itself.
Good point.
That's a great point. You know, I look at it like this, you know, if you're a God-given talent has taken you to where you are, you just don't make it to the NFL. You know, there's a lot of, I think we did something a couple years ago about the percentages, how to get to the NFL. You know, and he's been there. I heard something today where they were talking about he was projected as a number one. When he was at Sanford, he was a number one quarterback. You know, to come into the league and play at your highest level, because you got to bring it every Sunday.
That's right.
And he has done that year in, year out. I don't see why he can't just go on his own terms. I'd much rather, if I played, I'd much rather go out on my terms than be carried out and not being able to, like Junior Seau. People like that, they played too long.
Oh yeah.
And then things happen, concussions, injuries, some of the things you said, lacerated liver. Can you imagine that kind of pain this man was in?
Oh yeah.
I believe he made the right decision because he's thinking about, hey, I can spend more time with my family. I can sit back. I can, money's not everything. Money is not everything. My health, I can move forward with life. He's played football probably all of his life, ever since his little kid. So, I think it's a great move on him by saying, okay, I've had enough. It's time to move on. And like you said, some of the NFL players are commending him. I do too.
Yeah.
It's time to go on. Just like, remember back in, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Jim Brown. He walked away at the top of,
29.
he was at the top of his game.
Yeah, at the same age as.
And just walked away. I'm through.
Yeah.
I don't need to, my body doesn't need to be pounded every week. And, and like Jim Brown, running back, quarterback, those are the two main positions. You getting hit every time. You're under distress.
Yeah.
So Andrew Luck, I'd say I commend you. Go home, count your money, sit back, play with your kids, take your wife around the world. Do that.
Well, that's interesting you brought up about the family because he's been with his girlfriend, I believe, for the last 10 years through his career, and now he's really wanting to settle down and get married.
Yeah.
And like I said, have the family and enjoy that time. And kind of put this aside, especially like you said, with all the injuries and everything.
Yeah.
So the reason why I wanted to bring that up as the question of the week is because there's a lot of different perspectives you can look at it. Like I said, you can look at it from the team's perspective or his perspective, but the interesting thing that I happened to think about and was pondering on, it wasn't necessarily the fact that he decided that he did not want to play, but the timing of it. The previous players that I mentioned, they'd done it at times to where at least it was fair enough for the team.
Right.
But on Andrew Luck's defense, the way you guys have pointed out, you got to kind of look at this too, because what good, sometimes you like it, who's really being selfish here? Is the team being selfish or is Andrew Luck being selfish? What I mean by that is, what good, let's say Andrew Luck decides to make a last minute change, say, okay, I am going to do it, but he's not really doing it for himself or doing it for the team.
Right.
Well, you got to look at it and ask yourself, if you're one of those team members, how all in is this guy? Did we force him to make a decision to come back? So it's almost like, is it worth it to fight for somebody back, no matter how talented he is, if he's not mentally and physically prepared to want to really play and just go through the motions just to make the fans happy and his team happy? So, like you said, it really comes down to, and what everybody's got to look at, the way you guys, I believe you mentioned, is you got to look at the individual.
Yes.
And what that individual fairly
Yes.
is able to do, because like I said, what good is a person if he's not going to give it his all? Especially in a game like football, he can get hurt worse than what he's already is by not fully being committed. So, hey, it don't matter if it's the day before. If you're not mentally and physically ready, it's better for both sides to back out.
It's going to be up here. Let me throw this at you and we'll move on from this. What about Jason Witten? He sat in the booth. That wasn't his thing.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at the other side of it. Yeah, he decided to come back to play one more.
He had
that hunger.
He had that hunger for it.
Like he said, that's where it comes with the mental side of it. Is like, wait a minute, the booth's fine. This is nice, and I'm talking about. But I miss being.
I still can play. I still can play. So Andrew Luck, we wish you all the best.